So welcome to Assertiveness, week 10, which would normally be week 9, but we have 11 weeks, and then we have break week, which is sign-up week, so that's not next week, but the following. Okay? Because this ends on January 3rd, I think?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so let's recap. Be honest, direct, and respectful. Imagine yourself being more assertive or less aggressive or less passive. And if you can't do that, imagine somebody that you know, that you believe is more assertive or less aggressive and how they would handle the situation and act accordingly. Believe that you're allowed to be assertive, stand up for yourself. Believe that you can. Be aware of your emotional state, what you're feeling and why you're feeling it. Look for win-win scenarios whenever you can. Use I versus you statements. Stick to the facts, don't exaggerate, don't use words like always, never, hate, and anything that's an exaggeration. Watch your body language, your facial expressions, and your tone of voice. And be aware of the different styles of assertiveness that you can use. There's there's supportive style, there's the direct style, analytical style, and an emotional style. Then last week we talked about the 4 rules, which we're going to get into more detail about today, which is repeat yourself. If you ask a question, ask somebody to do something, they don't respond, you repeat yourself. And then if that doesn't work, you command, you tell them to stop doing something or to start doing something or to give you what you want. If that doesn't work, you add emotions. But what that means is you're communicating your emotions. I'm really mad at you right now. Or I'm really frustrated. Or I'm confused. I don't understand why you're not doing this or why you're doing this. And then introduce consequences. If you don't stop doing that, I'm going to, whatever. If you don't start doing that, I'm going to. And then next week we'll get into listening. Today we're going to continue on with the 4 rules of assertive communication. Repeat, command, emote, and introduce consequences. But today we're going to talk about confrontations on page 71.
I've been in a few confrontations myself.
Okay.
I hit my brother, he hit me back, we went to jail for 3 hours.
Oh, wow. Is that recent?
Yeah, this is like 20 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Last year, a friend of mine was calling me a good old Catholic boy at a restaurant, and I called him the F word and I threatened to beat him up right in public.
Oh, man.
I don't have a page 71.
We don't have a 71.
Defining the problem? You don't have it? I see it's there. I see it's there.
Also,
Oh, it's after page 86.
almost got killed by a mob
The
of
person
people
who made our
at
books
dance
messed
club,
up
too.
again.
Oh, okay.
I almost got
Sorry.
No,
killed,
that's all right.
beaten to death by a mob of people at a dance club.
Is it yours?
I apologize. We asked somebody to make our books for us, and some of the pages got messed up. So some of you, page 71 is after page 86, which is not good.
Oh,
Dang.
What are we doing?
oh, I
today?
do see that. I didn't
80
even notice
But
that.
87 comes after 86.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
We'll
luckily,
figure it out as we go
luckily we
along.
have it. It's just not in the right order. Okay.
Dang.
We'll figure it out. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, that is a little odd, isn't it?
All right, before we get into that, who likes the Bengals? Show of hands. Who doesn't like the Bengals? What team do you like?
I don't keep track of football at all, I'm not interested.
I didn't do
Anybody?
good with this when you weren't here last time. I did.
I
I
wear a
flopped this.
bagel shirt, but
Okay. Well, the Bengals couldn't find the end zone with a seeing eye dog.
what?
Who likes the Bengals? Do you feel
That
upset
game
by
was
that?
kind of a joke that lost to Miami.
Okay.
What?
I said that game was a joke that lost to Miami this past Sunday.
Oh.
That was
Did the Bengals lose again?
38-35 in overtime.
Have they like only won one game?
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh wow.
they lost a lot of close games.
Somebody's got to go.
Maybe some of the
They're gonna be
people
the
weren't-
first in the draft pick, that's what they're excited about now.
Oh.
'Cause
Maybe
there's a
some
lot-
people were busy with a lot of
I'm
stuff.
really surprised about
All right, so
Drugs.
or
what do you guys think of when you hear the word confrontation?
Fights?
Okay. Anyone else? That's a good one, to most people.
Conflict between someone who's a normal citizen and someone in authority, which would be a person, against a policeman.
Interesting. Okay. Anyone else? Conflict? What do you think of when you hear the word conflict? I was in the military, so I think war.
Disagreements.
Disagreements.
I just feel uncomfortable normally. I tend to, I want to stop doing this, and that's why I've taken this class, not only here, but at numerous hospitals I worked at, and I feel very uncomfortable with conflict. I don't know if anybody else does or not. I avoid it at all costs.
Have to agree to disagree.
I've been doing more of that, yeah.
What, agree to disagree?
That's my sister and her husband's rule, and, yeah.
You're all right. All that is conflict. So conflict takes on many different shapes and sizes. And before we start reading, I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry.
That's all
I should
right.
ask them. Pause the video. Don't go back here with it.
I know, I didn't do good with this one.
That's all right.
That's, yeah, we need a new expert.
Yeah. Okay, today we're going to talk about conflicts. What's the best way to avoid an argument or a fight?
Peace.
Anyone else?
Don't start nothing, won't be nothing.
If you're not there, you can't argue or fight, right?
If you're not there.
Right.
That's why we isolate.
Well, one of the first things that we're going to learn is defining the specific behavior to be confronted, which we're going to talk about in about 15 minutes. Basically, Maria, excuse me, used a phrase I liked last week and the week before. She said, pick your battles.
Right,
And that's one of the things that the book's going to talk about today.
yeah.
Because we're learning how to be assertive. And today we're going to talk about how to be assertive in a confrontation. But one of the first things that we're going to learn is decide which confrontations are worth, getting into.
This is true.
So let's say that you feel the need to stand up to yourself, and I'll use a personal example, to somebody in my family. Well, you know what? They live far away. I don't see them or talk to them very often. Do I really feel, how important is it to me to stand up to them and tell them how I feel? Not very important.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
If you want to continue
But
to
if you
have a
see
good
them
relationship
every
with your family.
day,
But if I have a neighbor who's bugging me or doing something that's really irritating me, maybe I might feel it's a little more important because I have to put up with it all the time and it's affecting my mental health. Yes, sir.
People, especially people who are quiet people, nice people, kind of solve the confrontation on good terms,
Yes.
on peaceful terms, maybe.
Well, they're probably using assertive communication to do that.
You know what, I just thought of a phrase that I heard, that would you rather be, and you've probably heard this before, would you rather be right or would you rather be happy? And I think sometimes people will have confrontations because they just want to be right. It's not even to solve something. Does that make sense?
Stephen, you had your hand up?
I said if you do something right, you might feel better. Is that true?
I believe so. All right, let's start reading and then we're going to come up with some examples, maybe a role play or two. Page 71, defining the problem. Perhaps the most challenging time to be assertive is when the other person's behavior is unacceptable to you and you need to talk with this person about changing the behavior. What do you think of when you hear the word confrontation? Do you envision yelling and screaming? Do you imagine anger, tears, blame, accusation, denials, hurt feelings? Most people have only unpleasant experiences involving confrontation and have no idea how confrontation can be handled assertively, even caringly. One important aspect of handling confrontation assertively is defining the problem in such a way that you can talk with the other person about the problem without communicating disapproval or disrespect. This requires you to learn to define the specific behavior that you find unacceptable rather than seeing the other person as unacceptable. This may take some practice. Now, before we move on, this is the most important part of confrontation, defining the problem. What do you want to get out of the confrontation? Most of the time it's pretty simple. You want somebody to do something that they're not doing. You want them to stop doing something that they're doing. You want them to give you something that belongs to you. You want them to know how you feel, know that they've made you mad or that they've hurt your feelings. You want to communicate how you feel about something. Those are pretty much the main reasons why people enter confrontations, right?
I'll add one more.
What?
I think this one's unrealistic, but I know I've done it, and I believe other people probably would agree they've done it, even if they won't acknowledge it. And it's basically that you want somebody else to feel or think the way you feel or think. Like I said, it's not realistic, but it's
That was
like,
going to be one of the examples that I said, this is one of those choose your battle moments.
yeah.
Because most of the time, all experts, and even
If it's
Abraham
your
Lincoln wrote
friends or family or somebody you're real close to, especially a spouse, you just sort of feel like you
you
want
need to
them
fix them.
Yeah. That's always been my problem. I wanted to fix somebody, or I wanted them, because I loved them so much, I wanted them to believe what I believed, or think the way I think. Because initially, and maybe this sounds so far-fetched or off-topic, but correct me if I'm wrong, David, it's just when you fall in love, you all of a sudden you sort of, this is probably because I'm codependently enmeshed, yeah, it's like you believe everything they believe, or at least you think you do. And then when you find out that you're two separate people, that's when the arguing begins. Do you follow where I'm going with this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because I think there's that crazy hormone called love that makes you all of a sudden think you all believe the same thing, and then a year, 6 months, 3 months, 2 years, 3 years, whatever, or you start having kids, whatever the case may be, you start thinking different. Oh my gosh, I don't know you. How did we
Right.
ever fall in love? You know what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Okay. So, sorry, did you want to say something?
Sometimes I wanted to make decisions for myself.
Yeah. Of course.
Sometimes
And you should be able to.
parents can be overbearing,
Right,
like very strict.
right.
Very
And
strict.
that's how I grew up, sure.
Yes, my father was very strict,
Yeah.
and until he had a heart blockage back in 2002. It was almost New Year's.
Yeah.
So when he died, part of myself felt free, but I had to deal with my mother. So I had to take good care of. I had to take care of her. Her time was almost over.
Yeah.
I mean, she's still living, but her time is over. And mine's just beginning.
Yeah.
Do you want to do things on your own? Is that what you were saying?
Mm-hmm.
I follow you.
Okay, so what do you want from a confrontation? Sometimes you want somebody. What do you want from somebody? What do you want from the person that you're going to be confronting? You want them to do something. You want them to stop doing something. That could be calling you a name, stealing from you, whatever. Return an item that's yours, or money that they owe you. Know how you feel. Sometimes you want to confront somebody just to tell them that you're mad at them, or tell them that they hurt your feelings, or you want to tell them how that's perfectly acceptable. Change somebody's mind about something. Maybe you're a Democrat and you see a Republican on the street with a protest sign, you want to change their opinion and tell them why they're wrong. Is that a good reason to confront somebody?
No, because I just did it with my nephew this holiday in the van. And he said, Aunt Maria, mind your own business.
Maybe
That didn't work, I just shut up.
maybe you don't feel like somebody's paying any attention to you and listening to you when you talk. And you want them to listen to your opinion. Is that something that you have control over?
No.
Maybe somebody's treating you bad and you want them to respect you. Is that something you have control over?
Not really.
No. But these are tied to other ones.
I mean, you can earn respect, but that doesn't mean they're gonna give it to you.
How can somebody be disrespectful to us?
Yeah, but I've heard the term, which I believe is, people treat you the way you let them treat you.
Well, that's where we're going.
And what
Yeah.
I'm saying is, you can't control what comes out of someone's mouth, but you can control your response and how much you're willing to put up with it.
Well, that's where we're going with it.
I love
Yes, Bob?
everything you said.
Sorry I interrupted you before.
No, that's all right.
So, what Melanie said is true.
Yeah,
That's the golden rule.
yeah,
Yes.
That's the golden rule.
it really, and that's so true.
Hold on. So I feel like Maria doesn't respect me. Why would I feel that way? Why would you feel like somebody doesn't respect you? What actions do they take that maybe
Some
make you
people can sense it or feel it coming on or perceive it that way. Perceive
Okay.
it that way.
That's how you talk
What
to
are some-
somebody?
Give me examples. Give me real world specific examples. Is there somebody in your life, you don't have to name their names, that you feel doesn't respect you at all?
Yes.
And what specifically makes you feel that way?
Well, it could be facial expressions, which
Okay.
we've talked about. It could be,
Names they call you?
well, it could be names, yeah, sure, sure. It could be when you know for a fact they're talking behind your back, so they'll be nice to your face, but not,
That's, stop doing something.
yeah, I mean, you hear from others that they're saying things about you that aren't
Gossip?
consistent.
Yes.
Yeah, gossip.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It definitely doesn't mesh with the way they treat you in front of your face versus what you're hearing about.
That would be a
Else-
combination of this one and that one.
Yeah.
I'm hearing rumors, and if they're true, I want you to stop saying things like that about me.
Yeah,
Or you always call me stupid. I don't like that.
yeah.
Maybe, you know what? You're always asking me for money and never giving it back. Maybe
You
that's
can't-
why you don't feel respected.
Mhm.
You
You
need to
can't-
stop asking me for money or start paying me back. Yes.
I'm sorry.
No, please go.
You can't be nice to somebody in their face and then just go behind someone's back, you know, bad mouthing.
Yes.
And that's not gonna work that way. They don't wanna,
And then be
You
nice
know-
to certain people but not other people.
Yeah.
So in general, to me, that doesn't seem like respect when you're just sort of
no,
nice to certain people but not to the big,
one-sided.
yeah.
This is,
With the money
What-
situation, what does it have to do with them? It's gonna do with you. If
Exactly.
you don't like them taking money from.
Stop giving it.
Don't give the money out, period.
That's consequence. That's why,
One-sided.
that's where we're going. Right now, we're in a situation where you've already loaned or given somebody money.
I heard about
And I would just
one-sided
swallow my-
friendship.
Hold on, one at a time, I'm
I
sorry.
would just swallow my pride and think, well, I'm not getting that back, I'm moving on.
Yep.
That's how I am about money.
Yep,
Okay?
If I would, I don't really give people money, but if I did and they didn't pay me back,
yeah.
it's just, it's not even worth it.
The best way to avoid confrontation is to not be there. So if you don't loan the money, you're not gonna have this problem, right?
Right.
And that's a consequence that we're gonna, that's an example of a consequence that we're gonna, the book's gonna talk about introducing consequences. We started reading about it last week. And during confrontation, that's one of the consequences, depending on the situation. The situation may be, Bob, I've loaned Bob $20. He was supposed to pay me back 2 days ago. I asked him about it. He said he'd give it to me yesterday. He didn't give it to me yesterday. So now when I confront him assertively, I say, Bob, if you don't give me the money you owe me today, I won't be able to loan you money again in the future. Or the next time you ask me for money, I'm probably not going to give it to you. That's the consequence. that you introduce.
Let me just bring something up, it's off topic a little
Oh,
bit, but,
before we get into
Yeah,
more
go ahead.
specifics, if
Okay.
you don't mind.
yeah,
Let's go back to some of the other reasons why you're going to confront somebody. And this is the pick your battles, define the problem. You want somebody to listen to your opinion. Well, that could be because they always interrupt you. And you need to tell them to stop interrupting you because you want them to know how you feel. So these four are the only ones that I could think of. The book doesn't really tell us what situations, but it does talk about defining the problem and knowing what you want to get out of the confrontation. Because if there's not something you want to get out of the confrontation, why have the confrontation is the bottom line. Change somebody's mind. Why would you want to change somebody's mind? Why would you know that you need to feel the need to change somebody's mind? Because they're sharing their opinions with you, maybe.
Well, if you were in a
That you don't
child-rearing
wanna hear.
situation, is a reason.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes, Bob?
Maybe I could have borrowed money off of someone, didn't pay it back, but to change their mind, I decided to pay the money back later so they could trust that I pay it back in the future.
Get into that. Steve?
If you're in a bar fight, what if you got into a bar fight at a bar? I provoked somebody one time and he punched me in the face.
keyword
hold on.
provoke.
Let's define the problem.
Yeah, right.
What do you want to get out of the confrontation? I walk into the lunchroom downstairs at lunchtime today, and who can I pick on? Maria or Bob punches me in the face. What do I want to get out of the confrontation? What do I want? Don't ever touch me again.
Yeah.
That's a
That's-
command,
yeah.
that's an assertive statement. That follows every rule that we've learned. I don't like being punched, don't you ever touch me again. Remember, you're allowed to be mad when you're being assertive.
Yeah.
You can be mad and not be aggressive.
Hmm.
Don't ever punch me. I don't like you. Don't ever talk to me.
I don't like you.
Let them know how you feel. That's an assertive statement. I don't like you. Yes.
I heard about one-sided friendship. One-sided friendship. You had a friend, but who was, prejudiced. But no. No. I heard about one-sided friendship and
You're just saying they always taking but never giving.
Nope. Yeah. Oh, yeah. About that confrontation.
Yes.
Okay, when you go to a place, a restaurant or something, or some other party or something, or other place, and you feel the person when you get to a certain part, you felt a hand slightly behind your little,
Uh-huh.
body part, a certain body part.
Okay.
Okay, you turn to look at the person who did it, and you might, before you do something, you have to say something. Did you just touch me
Yeah, I did.
on my
Yeah, I did.
body part?
Yes, I did. I pinched your butt.
Um,
So now assertively use these 4 rules,
Yeah.
steps, and figure out what you want out of the situation. You
don't.
probably want me to know how you feel, I'm guessing.
Uh,
And you want to make sure I don't do it again.
I feel violated. Don't do that again.
Yeah, why not? Come on, it's just harmful
I don't
fun.
care
Hey.
how good looking you are. Don't do that again.
Well, not just one more time.
What?
Repeat yourself.
Did you
Repeat yourself.
just touch me?
Oh, that's a question. Tell me.
Don't do that again.
Well, I guess, if I feel like it,
I
maybe
mean
I
it.
will.
I
Yeah.
mean it. Don't do that again.
All right.
Okay, so what's the consequence?
Why not? Tell me how you feel.
I feel violated.
Very good.
Okay, so we're.
You know what?
Consequence.
I still can't help it because, I just really like pinching people's butts. Now introduce consequences. What are you going to do if I do it again? No, remember, the difference between a threat and a consequence is a
You're gonna
consequence
follow
is
through.
something you're going to do, and it's not harmful to me necessarily.
The
Well,
next time you see me,
what are you going to do if I pinch your butt again right now?
I'll call the police.
There you go.
Good job. Good
Assertive
job.
confrontation.
So you know it now, right?
Yeah.
It's in your brain.
Perfect.
You did good, you did good. Because I know in the past, I would have let it go.
Really?
Not anymore.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, it's happened. It's happened.
Human anomaly.
I just make it go out of my brain, because I don't wanna deal with it. I told you, I avoid
Wow.
conflict.
Some women don't care.
And
I
it
do care.
happens, I care, but it happened to me a lot of times, like, if I was at a concert and men and women were going down and through, and they just grab your butt or grab your chest or whatever, and
Wow.
it's people just going, I mean, you don't even get a chance to talk to them.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? They even did it to my mom.
You don't
Wow.
have to,
Oh, wow.
you don't have to do that to get their attention.
All right,
Yeah, so anyway, now
so
we
that was
have,
perfect.
you did great,
Seriously, that was perfect.
yeah.
Yeah.
You just
Thanks.
instinctively, being a little prompted, you instinctively knew
Yeah.
what to say and how to
he-
say
and
it.
he said it
You
just
didn't-
like
you
what,
were- You were honest
yeah,
about how you felt.
yeah.
You were direct.
But that's what a lot of times a man might say, it's just harmless fun. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't care how it is.
yeah,
All right,
exactly.
the 5 tools for a successful confrontation on page 73, which hopefully for you guys is right after page 71.
Yeah, really.
To resolve situations such as these, the confronter needs to inform the other person about the behavior and the results of that behavior in such a way that the person feels respected and will be more likely to respond cooperatively. The following tools will help you learn to confront behaviors in just this manner. Identify which assertive style works best. Which type of personality will you be addressing? Well, if somebody just goes around and pitching strangers' bottoms, then they're probably pretty direct people. So you chose the
No
right style.
boundary.
You chose the
I would
right
say
style.
aggressive, not direct.
Aggressive,
Well,
no boundaries.
they're not being assertive,
Yeah.
but their behavior style, remember we talked about those
Yeah.
4 styles. Some people are always direct and to the point. Some
Yeah.
people are emotional about everything. Some people are analytical about
Yeah.
everything. They
Yeah.
overanalyze.
That's
Some
me.
people are really supportive and caring about
Yeah.
everything.
Some people feel it's okay to
Yeah,
That's
do whatever
direct.
they want.
it's totally
I
inappropriate.
totally agree with that.
Yep.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
Some people are more hot-tempered or violent than other people too.
yes.
Yeah,
Or be persistent.
yeah, yeah, you're right.
Now the book, number 2. Define the specific behavior to be confronted. And that's what I just spent 5 minutes talking about.
Yeah,
What do you want out of the confrontation?
Yeah.
Let's say that you're driving down the street and you happen to be I'm going to do both, Democrat or Republican, and you see a group from the other party standing on the street with signs protesting, and it's making you really mad, and you want to confront them. What do you want to get out of it? What would be the goal for you in
to
that
take the
confrontation?
alternative route home, that would be me.
Avoid the confrontation.
I'm avoiding, because I don't,
And you're in your car, you can avoid the confrontation, or you can pull over and start talking or yelling at them.
yeah, I'm not.
What would be your goal in a situation like that? There's a legitimate goal in my mind.
Oh, yeah.
People experience it all the time.
I just
You
think-
want the other person to know how you feel, why they're wrong. You want to change their mind.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
But all you can do, by the way, can you,
It's freedom of speech, but
If
I,
Donald Trump can't change their mind,
oh, why?
there's no way you're gonna change their mind.
Do you want to do some political confrontations for role play?
Yeah.
Okay, let's stick to facts and I versus you. Those are 2 of the most important ones in a you want somebody to know how you feel confrontation. I versus you, stick to the facts. I will play, you guys decide. What do you want me to play? What role do you want me to play? A supporter of a specific party or what? A person?
I just want to point something out. What Melanie said is true. They're constantly talking about this articles of impeachment of this president we got.
Okay. I will play President Trump's #1 supporter, the president of his fan club. I am a Donald Trump supporter, and who wants to volunteer to role play with me? An assertive confrontation where we're talking about the issues. Talking about the upcoming presidential election. I am Donald Trump's #1 fan, and you can pick a Democratic candidate. We're just role playing. You don't have to actually be
I'm not your
supportive
fan,
of a
so
person.
I can't be on that team.
I'm not a
No, you can
Trump
be
supporter.
I'm asking for the opposite.
I know you are.
Who wants to be a,
It might get too political.
no, it's okay.
Who was the
That-
woman, what's her name?
That's the point of this.
No.
This
I'm
class-
all about Pelosi.
Hold on. The purpose of this class, specifically this week, is to teach you how
I
to
know.
have a confrontation in a positively assertive way.
Right.
And I know some people online who do a great job of this. They're
Mhm.
able to sit down
You're
with
right.
somebody with
I do too.
strong opposing views,
And still be respectful.
and they follow these rules.
Yeah.
And they have good confrontation. So who wants to play along with me? Who wants to be a Democratic supporter of Elizabeth Warren? Or pick your Democratic candidate. You pick a Democratic candidate and you role play with me, since nobody else is.
Okay, Pete Buttigieg.
You're a Pete supporter?
Sure.
I'm Donald Trump supporter. First, let's do it wrong. Oh, Pete's just a small town mayor. He doesn't know anything. Donald Trump is the greatest. Stop me? What rules did I break? I shared my opinion about Pete, by the way. Nothing on there that says you can't share your opinion about something, right?
Right.
Well, hold on. Was I disrespectful about Pete? Small town mayor. He doesn't know anything. I broke one rule with that sentence.
That was like a always statement or a never statement.
Don't exaggerate.
Right.
I can't say that he doesn't know anything. He
Yeah.
probably knows how to tie his
And
shoes. He probably knows how to brush his teeth. I cannot say that he doesn't know anything. So
Right.
You said Donald Trump knows everything.
that's another exaggeration.
That's an exaggeration.
So now, let's do it. Now let me see if I can, oh wait, you should respond
Okay.
non-assertively.
Let's
Say
see.
something bad about
Mayor
Donald
Pete.
Trump.
Um,
Tell me how you feel about Pete. Don't worry about the rules.
Yeah, okay, so Mayor Pete Buttigieg is very intelligent and up and coming, very articulate, seems to be out for all people, not just Caucasians with lots of money.
And he has experience in Afghanistan, so
Right,
he would be good with foreign policy.
that's
Now,
exactly right.
what do you think about
Thank you.
Trump? Non-assertively, tell me what you think about Trump.
I believe Trump has some antisocial behaviors,
He's narcissistic.
and he's a narcissist.
He doesn't think before he acts or
Okay.
talks.
Right.
Hold on.
And he is, I don't believe his EQ is very high. As a matter of fact, it's about 2 to 5 year old. And,
Is that very respectful? All right, so she
It's
broke all the
facts.
rules. She
Facts
broke
are
all the
facts.
rules too,
Yeah.
even with her opinion about Pete. What did you say about Pete? You said that he is out for all people, not just the rich. Do you really think that he likes everybody that he's ever met or everybody
Nobody
he's
does.
ever? Then you exaggerated.
oh.
Those aren't facts.
I just
You
believe
said
that
that-
all he's willing to represent all socioeconomic people of all race, color, and
You
creed.
believe he's willing.
I believe that.
Okay, that's an opinion. It's okay because, yes.
What I said to another member of my family, he wasn't a vice president before becoming president of the United States. He wasn't a governor of a state or U.S. senator.
Well,
But the other member of my family said, Bob, this president we got in there now is a federal government businessman who has a good knowledge of federal government business. He
okay,
handles things differently.
hold on. You don't know what his knowledge is because you can't be inside of his head.
Who are we
Same
talking
with
about?
like you,
Donald Trump.
President we got in
Now let's go
there
back
now.
to Pete. What nice things did you say about Pete other than,
He's an Afghanistan soldier.
yes, he
Returned
is.
soldier, so
Mhm.
he knows on the ground what's going on in the
You
Middle
can't tell me
East.
what he knows. You really can't.
His background.
It's not a fact.
He has a acumen of the
He has
background.
military experience in
Yeah.
Afghanistan is a
Yeah.
fact.
Yeah, it is a fact.
Now, what else did you say that was good about Pete? You said a lot of
You know what,
nice things.
actually, I would say a Biden-Buttigieg combination would honestly be a much better situation.
Why?
than-
Tell me something good about
Well,
Pete.
he seems to represent an honest organization as opposed to an authoritarian / dictatorship, which I really would not like to be
Okay.
governed by.
I don't think that's a fact, is it?
Here's our way to everything I've been listening to every
Okay.
night for the past 3 years.
Okay.
As I see Medicaid go down, or the numbers go down, the amount of money go down for mental health, the
Now,
numbers go down for our pre-existing conditions possibly be taken away and all
Now
of us
you're
could-
using facts. This is a
Yeah.
positive confrontation.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
I've been
Now
listening,
let's-
I've been watching the fact,
Now let's make it not positive confrontation.
Yeah.
Now let's not use the assertiveness
there's
rule.
some nastiness.
Donald Trump is the greatest president we've had in a long time.
He's an actual sociopathic, narcissistic child who knows nothing.
Well, Pete knows nothing. He's a mayor of a small town in the middle of nowhere. I mean, he probably still, smokes from a corncob pipe.
You know what? Anything would be better than who we have.
I stay
Mickey
away from
Well-
Mouse. would be
Mickey
better.
Mouse would be better.
I would stay
Anyone
away
who
from it.
supports Pete
I would
is
stay
a
away from it.
socialist, communist, pig.
I think the communists, are with Trump. Actually, his
We're
best
talking
friends
about-
are
We're
communists.
talking about communism. Donald Trump is in bed with the communists.
Yeah, he is.
Well, if you like Pete, you're stupid.
Oh, wow.
Say
Hey,
something about me.
I'd rather be stupid than be with you and your
Say-
cronies.
Say something bad about, say something else, say something, what makes Trump supporters stupid?
Because they like Trump.
Okay.
I think they have, what is it? I think all the Trump supporters, sorry if you are one, I don't blame you. I
All right.
think you have Stockholm Syndrome. That's what I think they all have.
All right.
Okay.
In a minute, we're gonna do it again.
This has been fun.
We're gonna do it again. We are going to do it using all the rules, though.
Okay. I don't know how to do that.
Well,
That's why I
Can-
did this class again.
let's go back to the first rule of confrontation that we learned today.
Do you think they have Stockholm Syndrome?
Define the
Sorry.
problem.
Take that out of the tape.
Define the problem.
Okay.
Do you think that you can respect a person who supports somebody from the other political party? Without
I
asking,
can-
so if you're a
if-
Democrat, do you think you could support a Trump voter? If you're a Trump voter, do you think you can, do you think you can respect somebody who supports the other candidate? Can you respect somebody who would vote for Trump? Can you respect
I
somebody who would
have
vote for
to
Pete?
because they're in my family.
No, that doesn't mean you respect them.
I don't respect that decision that they might make.
Perfect. Thank you. That's where I was getting.
Yeah. How can
Um,
you not respect the person?
well,
Their decision is different from the
Well,
person.
a lot of people don't. And if you look at people who are protesting, who are clashing and yelling at each other.
That's why I
and
don't
calling
get in
people
it.
names.
I don't
And-
do it. No, I
and
won't do that.
Remember the deplorables thing.
Right.
No matter what you think about Trump or people who vote for him, I think it was Hillary, somebody
I know.
said that people who vote for Trump are deplorable. Well, she's attacking the people.
Yeah.
She can, and most people do, not respect somebody else's opinion
Yeah.
or their decision to vote for somebody else, but you can still respect the person.
The minute I hear a candidate on either side act like that, they're out.
Yeah.
What?
But the number one rule, be respectful.
Right.
So let's say that I'm a Trump supporter and you're a Pete supporter. I do not respect anyone who votes for Pete. Well, I can't follow any of the rules. I
Right.
cannot have any kind of positively assertive confrontation with you about the issues if I don't respect you as a person simply because you're voting for Pete. Does that make sense?
Uh-huh.
If you can't respect anyone who votes for Trump, we can't have a positively assertive confrontation, period.
Yeah, because
So
if
that's
it's
what-
how they're seeing it through their lens, whoever they vote for, everybody sees things through a different lens.
Exactly.
So,
But if you can respect the person, like
Yeah.
you said you're able to do in your family, just not respect their opinion or their decision to
Yeah.
make a vote, then you maybe can have a positive conversation
Yeah,
about
yeah.
an issue. Does that make sense?
yeah.
Yeah, Marie's right. Maria's right, what she's referring to. Some people form their views because they view or perceive things differently than others. Say.
Yeah.
All right, so
Yeah, our background and our experiences is what forms that lens, and so I'm not gonna say, I hate my brother or I hate my cousin because they're voting such and such. I can't do that,
Yeah.
you know? We
All right.
have a different lens.
So Marie and I have known each other for a while.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden today, I find out that she supports Mayor Pete, and she found out that I support Trump.
I don't know who I'm gonna vote for.
So we're gonna have a conversation.
Yeah.
Maria,
Yeah.
I like you. I've known you for a long time. I respect you, but I heard you like Pete. Is that right?
That's right, it doesn't mean
You
I'm
know-
gonna
you know,
vote for him, but.
Well, I support Trump. You know that, right?
Okay, now I don't know that, but go ahead.
You wanna talk about it?
Sure.
All right. How in the world can we have a positively assertive confrontation, considering the fact that we have
Well, what are
different
your
feelings?
thoughts about it, just so, you know, I'm
Well,
curious.
let's see. Remember the I versus you.
Mhm.
I think that Trump has done a lot of good things for the country. And you-
Yeah, oh,
By the way, I would,
what?
exactly, I would make me stick to the facts. Well, the economy seems to be doing better.
That's what I understand.
Yeah, we're not in as many wars. We have fewer people in war right now.
Yeah,
Yeah, we just pulled out and left everyone vulnerable.
yeah, exactly.
That's
I agree with you on that one, but
Here we go, here we
outs-
go.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're
time,
not,
time out in the role play, but.
yeah, we're not wars,
Um,
but people do
So
seem to
there
be
are some,
dying
there are some
though.
reasons, there are some reasons why I like Trump. So
Okay.
why do you like Pete? Why do you think he'd be a good
Well,
president?
you know, right now, we're down to about,
Remember, stick to the facts.
yeah,
use
well,
I
we're down
versus
to about
you.
5 to 7 people, so I just think he's one that may be able to, be electable, more electable than some of the others, although there are still a few that I'm willing to consider.
Oh, so you don't necessarily want him to be president as much as you don't want Donald to be president.
That
There's
may be,
perfectly-
that may be true,
Why,
yeah.
why don't you want him to be president anymore?
Um,
I can play your side
I'm
if you
really,
want.
I'm really concerned about the fact that Donald may take away our pre-existing conditions, that's a big concern for
Okay.
me and
What
quite a
about
few.
him as a person? Do
Um,
you think he's fit to be president?
um,
I'm
yeah,
leading, I'm asking leading
I'm
questions.
very concerned about it.
What?
What about,
Yeah, there's quite a few things that are not, you know,
You guys can
working
jump
out
in and play your part
for
at any
me, my
point.
family, and our future.
Yes.
what about the food stamps? Trump,
Yeah, just,
Trump's
he cutting them?
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
No.
I mean,
What about him as a person don't you like? You can share your opinion about that
In a
without,
respectful, honest way.
yeah.
I don't.
He says a lot of things that make people mad, and I don't think a president should be saying
I
so
don't
many
really
things
like-
like that is what somebody might say.
Right, yeah, yeah.
But I'm saying my opinion about the facts, I'm not exaggerating.
I don't really like him, but I do have to respect him.
No, you don't.
I don't respect him.
You don't have to respect him.
Yeah.
I
I
don't
just
have a-
silent,
I heard something he said about women, and I have no respect for the man, and I do not want him to be
I
president.
thought you liked
That's
Trump.
I thought you.
I'm playing
I
your
know,
role.
I know, I'm
I
messing
just
up.
silently despise what he
Hold
does.
For me, it's not about, it used to be about Republican and Democrat, you know, but with Trump, it's not even about being Republican or Democrat. I'd vote in another Republican if I thought he could win over Trump. It's not,
Okay,
Right,
we are having an assertive confrontation,
yeah.
which is why I asked what you think when you think of the word confrontation.
Yeah.
We're having an assertive confrontation about Donald Trump.
Right.
Can you imagine being outside this room and having an assertive
Oh, it would
confrontation
get
about
rough,
Donald
it would
Trump?
get rough, yeah.
No, it would turn into an
Yeah.
ugly,
Yeah.
aggressive
Yeah.
confrontation.
Well, and that's what, I think that's one thing that is a concern about Trump, and is, you need to talk. But I think the concern is that the country's so divided that I do believe he's been the impetus to that. And that is very
That's your
disconcerting
opinion?
to this country.
That's your opinion, I disagree. I think he's been an excellent example of a non-politician in office. I'm role-playing now. What makes the conversation that we're having right now, that is getting real, I think,
Yeah.
what makes it assertive versus confrontational versus aggressive? We're sharing our beliefs
I
about
don't believe we're
facts.
aggressive, because we're all sitting in this chair rather
No,
than
that's
up on
what
the
I'm saying.
table.
We are having a positively assertive confrontation about a topic that usually makes people mad.
Yeah.
And we're doing it because we're using I versus you statements, we're sticking to facts.
And I think we're into week 9, so we're doing pretty darn good.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes. Bob?
We're being honest.
We're being honest. We're being honest, direct, respectful of each other, even when we're talking about how we don't respect the person that we're talking about. Does that make sense? So between us, we're having a positive confrontation about Donald Trump.
You know what? I want to
What?
say something. This is really wild. My counselor said there's a movie way back in the day, and it was about a man that went into a mental health facility of some sort, and the whole premise of the end of the movie was that the people in the mental health institute or facility similar to ours ended up, he explored that and whatever, but he found out that the inside, like here, let's say in this room, us with mental health concerns, were healthier than the outside world. And she was
I
just
agree.
claiming that, like us here being civil about this very tumultuous topic that's going on in the outside world, we, as you can see, are being civil, even though we're in assertiveness class week 9, whereas the outside world will get into the street and hustle and bustle and
Yeah,
hit
yeah.
each other and all that, because they are not as aware of themselves and as introspective of themselves as we are, who get training as we come to all these classes. And so she was sort of like complimenting me on how I was introspective of myself and getting help, because a lot of people don't want to get help and they don't want to acknowledge what some of their deficiencies are to fix them and make themselves better. And so I just commend all of you in this class, number one, and commend all of you for coming to the center, because I thought that was so cool that she said that. And that, like, even my family, who doesn't want to speak about anything, and that, like, crazy Aunt Maria, you know, she's getting counseling, or she's coming to the mental health center, or whatever, the recovery center. So I think that's sort of a neat thing to know, that we are aware of what's going on, that we're going to get that kind of, you know, assertiveness training, for example. Do you think that's sort of cool? You agree?
Well, see, like people on Facebook, I don't respond to them because I figure if you respond in the same way as they come, if they're
Yeah, they're going to attack
they're
you.
spewing out hate,
Right.
responding to hate with more hate.
It spawns hate, right? As
Yeah,
opposed to a loving message, hopefully you get lots of
Yeah.
likes.
Right.
You agree?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Hopefully I didn't.
So I
throw
like
out
the
too much.
butt pinch
Okay.
example, I like the political example. Now, return item or money, stop doing something, do something, know how you feel. Somebody give me one last scenario that we can role play before we move on. By the way, next week we're going to talk about how to confront somebody who's not responding well. You're going to continue using the rules, repeat, command, emote, and introduce consequences. Hold on. You're also going to describe the results of the behavior, identify your own feelings. We're going to go deeper into adding emotion and consequences. Defining to the other person the goals that what you want to get out of the confrontation and the consequences. So before we do, let's finish up with the basics with one more role play. So non-political, non-sexual. Well, I just want to
We
mix it
had
up. I
enough of
wanna-
those,
wanna
yeah,
make sure.
sure.
So
Oh,
landlord,
was there
family,
something pressing?
doctor.
What was pressing for you? You just seemed like you wanted to say something.
No,
Are
Okay?
you all right?
Anyone else?
Okay.
Different role play. Family, neighbors, doctor, what?
For doing something, let's say you want to get a job somewhere, you set a goal for yourself to get a job somewhere. Or you set a goal for yourself. Let's say if you also want to go to college, you set a goal for yourself to go to college, and go to college and graduate.
Well, we're talking about situations where you might want somebody else to do something. You're standing up for yourself. So what's another scenario where you want somebody to stop doing something like pinching your butt? You want them to know how you feel about politics or whatever
Yeah.
issue you want to talk
I
about or
think
how
like,
they treat you.
I don't know how to word it, if this is good or not, if somebody else can come up with the example, but something like a bullying situation.
Anyone else?
Unless you, maybe you can think of it or somebody
Your
else.
landlord's not fixing something, case manager's not doing something.
Yeah, case managers that don't return calls.
All right,
Okay, okay.
I'll be the case manager. So you're gonna come to visit me. I'm sitting at my desk.
I can't even come visit you, David. You want me to return my call?
Hold on, Maria.
Yes, oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sitting at my desk. Hey, how's it going? Melanie? I'm your case manager, by the way, and I haven't been returning your calls. You have to confront me.
Well,
First of all, what do you want to tell yourself and the rest of the class,
Yeah.
what do you want out of this confrontation?
Right.
I'm not going to
Explain
respond
to
to
them the
it.
importance of them returning my call in a timely manner.
And how you feel about it.
And how I
Okay,
feel about it.
try to stick to the rules. I'm not, by the way. What's the first rule I'm breaking? I'm breaking all the rules because I'm the person she's confronting.
Does she see you?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
she's in my
so-
office
So you
now.
already see one
She came
thing.
to see me,
Look at her body language.
Body language.
Yeah,
okay?
that tells you something.
Hey, Melanie, what's up?
Well, I'm having trouble, Dave, because I've been trying to call you all week and you haven't returned any of my calls.
Well, you're not my only client. You know that, right?
Look at that.
I'm not following the rules. You have to.
Smirky look on his
Just look
face.
at it.
I understand I'm not your only client, but it's important to me that you give me a call within 48 hours. That's my right as a client at this center.
Well, like I said, I have a lot of clients, so,
Yeah, I can tell.
and I don't remember getting a call from you. I did. When did you call?
Well, I called on Monday, and I called on Wednesday, and today's Friday, so,
So what's the problem?
well,
What do you want?
you're supposed to be calling me back within 48 hours.
Well, okay, I'm seeing you right now, so hi. What do you want me to call you back about? What do you need?
The consequence of you not calling me back is, I'm gonna have to go to your supervisor.
About what? I don't even know what you want. I didn't get a
Good,
call
good.
from you.
Good.
Now you're coming in here and giving me a hard
You're on
time.
it, you're on it, okay. So tell
What
me
do you want?
Yeah.
By the way,
My
come up with
medication needs
some,
to be refilled.
did you call your pharmacy?
The pharmacist, yes, I've called the pharmacist,
Well, then talk to them.
but they need a direct call from Dr. Jones, and I can't get a hold of Dr. Jones, so. it's
Did
up-
you leave a message?
You can't get a hold of Dr. Jones directly at GCB, you have to have a case manager
Oh.
write an
Well, I'll get
email.
to it. Dr. Jones has a lot of patients too.
I'm sure that Dr. Jones would get back to me if he knew that I wasn't
No
gonna be able
problem.
to take my medicine.
Well,
No.
I'll send him an email.
You need to send him an email today.
I will get to it when I can. I don't like being told what to do.
Well,
Yeah, I don't like confrontations.
Repeat.
Supervisor.
No, repeat.
I don't like.
Tell me to do it today. Email it today.
I need you, David.
I'm
to-
sure you do. I know you need me to. I know it's important to you.
Supervisor.
If you can't do that today for me, I'm gonna have to get a hold of your supervisor.
She's right down the hall. Go talk to her. I'm doing the best job I can.
Well, I'm gonna call her right now.
Okay, I'll call her up.
All right. Good luck.
You're
You're not always going to get what you want, but you did everything right. You were assertive. You weren't yelling, screaming. You didn't say, "You never returned my calls. You're a horrible case manager."
And you can make your tone a little, tell me if I'm wrong, but I would make my tone just a little deeper, you know what I mean? Because you said everything right, just if it was me, I don't know, I'd get a little more stern.
Yeah, you're allowed to be
Your tone a
upset.
little stern.
You're allowed to be
more
upset.
stern.
Yeah, a little stern or emotional, yeah.
As long as you don't start calling names,
No,
cussing.
no, don't do any of that. But the only reason I say that is because when it's my medicine, I need my medicine. I will call your supervisor. Because if you do not do your job, I don't know if you can say that or not, but I need my medicine, you don't understand. Or something like that, I don't know.
That's a real life situation,
Yeah.
these new case managers, they don't know what they're doing, they don't even know how to do an email. She said, I gotta talk to my supervisor to find out how to do an email. I'm thinking, if you don't know how to do an email,
Yeah, how am I gonna get my
how am
medicine?
I gonna get my medicine?
Yeah,
Let's
because I
talk-
just went through it too, actually, so I know what you're saying.
Let's talk about emotions and assertive styles here. I'm a case manager, and I have 6 people call me today, say, I need a refill, and they say it like this: I need a refill on my Klonopin, I need a refill on my
Right.
Cymbalta.
Right.
Can you, the pharmacist said that you guys aren't gonna refill, could you find out why the doctor's not refilling it and ask him to refill it?
Yeah.
And then I gotta get a 6th patient, a client who calls me, I'm the case manager, and they say, the pharmacy wouldn't refill my medication, I haven't had it for 2 days, and I'm starting to feel really, really depressed or really anxious.
Yeah.
Can you please figure out why they're not refilling my medicine, because I'm really starting to get,
Yeah.
upset, and I'm really starting to
Yeah.
struggle.
I mean,
with
I
it."
just went through this, yeah,
Now,
just what you're
5
saying.
people are just calmly, hey, could you check into why my medicine's not being refilled? And 1 person is adding emotion and they're being analytical, telling me why they need the
Yeah.
refill
And I
right
said,
away.
that's exactly
I'm
what I
gonna
did.
jump on that one that
Yeah.
is being emotional, sharing their emotions and telling me
Because
why.
I said, I'm about to go through withdrawal, and, I
Yeah.
was just doing the whole bit.
So that's being analytical. It's not whining, it's
No.
not.
No, you're
Yes.
saying the facts.
Sorry, I
That's the
didn't
truth.
interrupt.
No, that's right.
That's
Some
exactly right.
case managers are better than others. Some
Yeah.
doctors
Well,
are better
that's obvious.
than others.
Just like some
But the
clients are
squeaky
better than
wheel
others, some
gets,
police are
uh,
better than others, some neighbors are better than others. Yeah, you're gonna,
But I mean, I had the
Squeaky wheel
same
does
thing.
get
But I
the
was-
wheel, because if you just let it go,
If you let it go, it's
Well,
not
hold on.
gonna get done.
I hope you got the point from my role play. I was doing everything wrong and I wasn't being responsive.
No.
You were doing everything right, and you did have a better chance of getting me to be responsive that
Right.
way. But I still, even though you followed all the rules, I didn't respond well. And next week, we're gonna
Yeah.
continue with that.